Welcome, Ariel. I'm so glad that you're here and to hear about like some of your miraculous near-death experiences and just the magic that you are and whatever you want to share today. I'd love to start with diving into your first near-death experience that you had, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about that.
My very first one that I can remember of my very own, I would have been probably about 4 or 5 years old. And my parents left me on a beach and they went out water skiing. And so I was just with me and my dog, and I was walking along the shore, and I was told not to go past a certain point, but there was a sinkhole, and I went down. And yeah, I just remember the light coming and everything, and then I was darkness, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, my dog's dragging me on the beach. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's the first one that I can recall myself. I
Yeah,
was I was told there's more, but that's one of the first I recall myself.
amazing. And
Yeah.
did you recall anything in the in between? Like did you
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there was this point where basically like it was like creator and then mother earth, and who Yeshua, but like in the form of what we would understand, not in a religious format. And they just told me that this wasn't my family and that I was going to go through a lot, but one day I'd get out.
Mm,
And that I just to recognize that that wasn't mine. So I think it saved my life and got me through most of the time, to be honest. So that was
wow.
the one thing I remembered. Yeah. But yeah, my most impactful one would have been when I went in hospice. Like a lot of my other ones, it was just, a dark moment, and you were above your body and then you went back kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know which one you want me to go into next, so I'll let you lead
All of them.
that.
Whatever you're called to do, your hospice one, maybe we could go into next and then we can just kind of hop around.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that one was the most impacting, and I think because I knew I was dying, right? There's something to that process. People don't come back from that. I've been told that by so many therapists. So I tried to get like just have someone to talk to about my experience, and it never worked out well for me because they would end up calling me for help in the end. So I was like, okay, I got to break this therapy relationship we got. So, but like, yeah, it's quite a surreal experience to come back from just even that, because I was very heavily involved in Christianity. I was even preaching on stages. Most of my music I was written was for the churches, even like some of the big churches in Canada used some of my music and played it. Like that's the writing. I was part of the Canadian Song Association, all that kind of stuff. And so for me to all of a sudden be there with the aspect that you're taught, well, you're going to go to heaven because you believe, that is not where my mindset was. My
Mm,
mindset was like, I don't know if any of this is even real.
wow.
But to my friends who got to, because I was during COVID is when I died, so really sucky time to die. I mean, to even when my kids came and visited me, but even down to my friends would come visit me, I wouldn't share that fear. I just would give them the joy. But inside, the truth is, you question everything, and you're
Hmm.
like, you question everything that you even go through, every existence of every moment of your life. And I think it's important I think that's a process we have to go through, because I think that no matter what, whether it's here or there, we're going to face our shadows and who we are, and those deeper questions. At some point, we've got to face them. We can't keep ignoring them. So for me, that's what it was. It was a place of having the deeper questions, but no, not having anywhere to project them to, because I was surrounded around Christianity and you're gonna get to go to heaven kind of bullshit stuff. So so it's like hard to have anyone to talk to about it. And then I'll never forget the day I did die. I knew I was dying that day. Like, so they put a lot of drugs on you when you're in hospice. And so they put like a 150 milligram patch of fentanyl on me and then shot me full of morphine. And right then and there I went, oh, I'm dead today. And I knew it. I was like, yeah, I'm literally dying. And I even said that to the nurse. I'm like, you guys are helping me die. Oh no, we don't do that. We just support you. No, no.
Wow.
I mean, I get it. I'm in pain and definitely I asked for management, but I'm just saying that's a lot, you know. And so yeah, I mean, I remember it. I remember even talking to the one who was like a good friend of mine, who was also the executor of my will, who was going to do my wedding, or not wedding, funeral. It was no wedding. It would do a funeral and all that stuff, right? So anyway, like I even like had him go and plan my funeral, and I paid for my own funeral as well. So this is real stuff, you know, like I gave all my stuff away as well. Like everything that was dear to me, I gave away. I only hung on to one thing, which was my guitar. And I had my dog, my two dogs at that time I had, and that was it.
Wow.
So there was just a simplicity that came to it. But I remember that day and I remember even going deeper, you know, and I went with some friends and we did a ceremony. And because like everyone's like, you need to continue on with your day. If someone's coming and got permission to take you out on an outing, like you might want to do that, you know. So I went and did that, but my poor people who took me to do that, that outing's where I died.
Wow.
So they were my witnesses. They were the ones who were there for the whole thing. And no one really has a full capacity of how long I was gone. They say anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes because they're just calculating the distance and how long, and you know, taking that into perspective. Because and then even when I went back into hospice, like I died 3 times while I was just there alone, just after I came back to life. So it was like a consistent dun dun dun. So yeah, it basically got to the point where it was funny. The doctor from the hospice came and said, like, we're gonna graduate you. And I said, no, no, graduation in hospice is a grave. I'm getting kicked out. Like, let's just call it what it is. But anyway, I'll go back to the where I was that day. You know, I'm on. I remember I was on the phone with that special friend, and then I had those people around me. I just remember like taking 3 breaths, and then there was like this crack, this huge crack, and then all of a sudden I was above my body.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, from being above my body, I was like, it was like being pulled within the universe. I don't really know how to express this expression, but it was like being sucked up, you know, or sucked in, whatever. You got sucked from where you were and you were no longer hovering over your body. But when I remember hearing the conversations and word for word. So that was quite surreal. But then the next thing I'm like, oh shit, I'm gone and I'm in this void. And then all of a sudden in this void is like I can hear different whispers, like, you know, like people trying to take me or something at one point is what I was feeling like. And then all of a sudden I realize I'm actually replaying my experiences in life or being played out in front of me. And I'm in this fetal position and I'm just like, you know, in this it went from void to this playing of my existence in my life. And I'm in this fetal position and I remember hearing, you know, you're not what you think you are. Remove your face from your hands of shame and gaze into the mirror and see who you are.
Mm,
And then I hear, I'm not what you think I am.
mm,
You know, will you gaze? And so I was being called Ariel. Now I've had a name change. Originally, my name was Leanne, and I was being called Ariel, which was interesting. I remember my great grandmother calling me that, and some other people in my life calling me that. So it was like this. That's the name you're calling me, okay? You know, like it wasn't the other, and it was that one. And I finally looked, and when I looked, it's my image, and it's like I'm like stardust, but in the shape of like a lion, you know, with these wings. Like I'm massive, Like I could swallow the earth if I wanted to, massive.
Wow.
And then I come into this whole reality of the existence of life, and I start to see these mathematical equations, and I'm basically taken through multiverses and multiverses and multiverses, like so many dimensions. People talk about 5D, I just laugh my ass off. I'm like, yeah, that's a nothing. Nah, that's icing on the cake, people. It's so multi-layered dimensional. It's infinite. We can't really put a coded number on it, but if you wanted to put a clock number on it, then your codes are 13. You know, there's just there's a creation that every one of us is a part of that original creator.
Mm.
We're a spark of that original divine. That was the thing I got to see, is the beginning of the creation. I got to see where this divide came, where the blindness came, how we're in a fallen mindset. We're not even on earth. Earth is gone, long time ago. We're like soaring through the universe, in this sense, but we're in assimilation, but we're not in our original design. We've forgotten who we are, and so I'm having all this wealth. So I understand, for people, I might have been gone like, 10-15 minutes, but I was gone years.
Mm.
So I went through a dimensional experience in each dimension where I played that being in their realm. And so I got to experience just basically a point of understanding the wholeness, like what this life force is. No matter what you are, there is no separation. Don't matter what you look like. You're not even what you look like. Like you've imagined this design, and that essence is. So imagine I'm gaining all this stuff, and I'm learning that nothing is of religion, and religion was man-made, and I was raised with this completely different understanding. But yet there's truths in all these things, which is common with stuff, right? We tend to do that, put a little bit of truth so people pay attention, and then veil it over with
Yeah.
mass lie. See, the one thing, yes, Jesus existed, that's a real dude, but the dude was enlightened in understanding the wholeness, the oneness, not being separated, and was there teaching us that we weren't separated, that was the blueprint of humanity. The blueprint of humanity was the breath of all life. And so
Mhm.
that is to say, do I believe in those things? I would say still yes, but not in that format, not
Mm.
in that understanding. I understand the universal story, in a sense, is what I'm saying, right?
Mhm.
So returning for me was a tough decision. It wasn't even my time, but I saw something in the existence of this life that made me go, wait, I could do this. I need to go back. And I kind of lost my stuff with the creator of all existence. Like I just lost it, said, I want to do this. Like,
Mm.
let's time travel. And no one will be any no understanding. We're just gonna go back in time, and I'm gonna get back up.
Mm.
And you're gonna let me remember everything. And we'll turn the events. We'll let people know. And those that are ready to listen, they'll wake up.
Mm.
And that was kind of my agreement. My original thing is I didn't want to see my two sons, who I knew what they were, commit suicide, which for them, they already lost one parent and they were now losing another. And it just caused this domino effect of
Mm.
chaos for them. So,
Yeah.
that was the main part of going, okay, yes, we all end up in the light at the end, but we still have this play out that we have to go through, like our shadows, no matter where we're at. So if you rob yourself of that contract prior to being when it's meant to be over, then you're going to play a repeat and you're not even understanding you're out of it yet.
Mm.
So you can get lost. You know what I'm saying? Like you can almost get lost within the abyss, which is what religion will talk about, which is us just being lost from the truth of our own existence. That's all that is, right?
Yeah.
But the beauty of that is that, the creator calls every part of its being back always. It doesn't, you know, and then to learn we're already dead, and our whole existence is to live. And I'm
Mm,
sitting here going, well, that's easy. We're
yeah.
freaking immortal and we just don't even know it because we've been lied to, you know? So it's like, there I go. I get to come back, but I get to come back still with all the health that I was dealing with, but I don't die. I just suffer. But
Mm,
I continue to be able to show others, hey, what I do for me is going to reset you because you don't have all this done to you, you know? But it's mindset. It's recognizing the existence that all things in the end are whole and complete.
mm,
So never deny that existence, right? You may have some moments of suffering, you may have these things that, but that's not really meant to harm you. It's not really meant to make you suffer. It's actually meant to project you to where you're supposed to be because there are these unique puzzle pieces all a part of the ultimate cosmos. And without you, I mean, how do you complete the puzzle? You
mm,
can't, you know. So that's one of the things I love teaching is telling people, please go after your individuality. Stop trying to be like everyone else because you're needed for what you are and nothing more. Like this box system is screwing you up. We're being taught to hate each other and it's enough. We're being taught to project our crap onto everybody.
mhm,
And we don't have anywhere to project because we all are everybody. I mean, I'm you, you're me. And so you know what? Yeah. You want your brother to keep doing that, or do you want to go over there and pick him up and realize, wait a sec, you're me. I don't like you living like this.
mm,
If we would do that more often than judge and throw trash at each other, we might all get out of this chaos.
mhm, mhm,
So I think that was for me like the shaking of a core. I'm still I'm still processing everything I gained over there. I'm still myself like a toddler walking through it and facing my own shadows. Like I'm not perfect. Just because I know stuff. The only thing that happens is now I just know better.
totally.
You know what I mean? I don't have any excuses anymore, right? And
It's
it's like,
also
gosh,
like a learning integration process and, dance of
yeah,
life.
yeah, right. So yeah, so for me, I went through all these dimensional things. I experienced many species, whatever we want to call them, alien, whatever. We're all aliens, so get over it. Everyone talks about the aliens are coming. You dumbasses, they're already here.
I know. For real. And they've
Make up
been
all
here.
the words
Yeah.
negatives. I mean, they don't fit. It's been scientifically proven. Why don't they fit? Well, because they might not be here.
Right.
It's like it's all coded, people, and we're ignoring it. It's I don't know. That's what I find funny is everything's so smack in front of us. It's so simple, but we've made it difficult.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Kinda trained to overcomplicate things and not trust, like, what is directly in front of us. The simple and the tangible, it's here.
Exactly. And you know what? That was the biggest thing too. For me, I learned like, okay, we all have in our lives get this place where we hit a depression. And I realized so we're all time travelers. If you've been in depression, you're a time traveler because you've just time traveled back to your past.
True.
I mean, I think about those video games, the Oculus things and stuff, and how real they are. I played them, and I don't know. I freak out at certain things because I know, even though I know it's a game and I know it's about to happen, it don't matter. I still feel it like it's real, and I'm like, hey, people. So if you can imagine that, can you not imagine you're in that right now?
Right.
So you get to direct that character. Do you want to be a first person or an observer? And that was the biggest thing I learned in this life was like,
Mm,
we don't want to time travel to the past. And if we are, we need to ask ourselves why. What do we believe about it? Because it's not about what happened. You can replay that stuff all you want. You can talk to a counselor about it all you want, and nothing's going to change about it till you recognize what you believe about yourself about that situation. And then can you forgive yourself for believing that bullshit because you are that divine spark, which means you're God. So you're already completely perfect. You chose to jump into a video game. What the why are you being a first person and being affected by a video game? Hit reset And you get to do that.
Mhm.
People hate it that I know that's true, because you will get people that'll fight you on it, and they'll try to convince you. What do you mean? That's when I just go, goodbye. You want to hold on to yesterday's when I believe we're not there.
Yeah.
What's your today about? Let's get each other in a moment, and let's keep each other from future tripping, which is when you like have anxiety. Now, I learned the future tripping word from a good guy, friend of mine, Paul. He's an author, and he told me one time, because I was on the phone with him and I was crying my eyes out about dying and what it's going to be like, and I don't want to die this way. He's like, stop future tripping. You're missing the moment, and these are the only moments you got. It was real. That is the only moments I got.
Mhm.
All right, because tomorrow I'm literally probably dead. You know what I mean? Like, that was a shift. And then seeing that existence in the realm, that there's this complete love that we are, yet we go looking for it. But if we would come together and recognize what we are, we would see the wholeness of it. There's no separation from that love.
I love that. And I actually have a similar background as you with like growing up Christian and being really immersed in the church and being like super I was like evangelical a little bit. And one of the things that kind of sparked when you were talking about like having a life review and experiencing like your life and being in that state. I personally went through a period in my life where I really was afraid of that concept, because subconsciously I had a fear that God was going to judge me in that process of like reviewing all my mistakes and what I could have done differently and all these things. And so I'd love to hear like your perspective in that moment when you were receiving a life review, what that felt like for you, your perspective, what you gained, and how yeah, whatever wants to come through regarding that.
I think recognizing, like, because I mean, at first, obviously, it scared me enough to put me in the fetal position.
Mm.
There definitely was enough shame that I put my hands in my face, but that was that idea, right, of understanding God to be this. Even though I would preach, like, I mean, I used to sit beside people like Bill Johnson and all those guys. I had seats right up beside them. Like, that's where I was. So I used to preach like this love, right? I used to preach that our past didn't define us, but when you're in the moment, I don't believe I believed that. I felt so much shame. It wasn't until I listened to the call of my name,
Mm.
and I gazed into the mirror and I saw the reflection of who I truly was. Like, at first it's like is angelic lion being, but then it was the spark of all life, right? So it was recognizing, here's the first birth of what you were, but here's the very essence of what you are, right? So that's when I learned we are the ocean, and we just took a cup and put water in it, and then put some color in it, and decided that it's a cup of red water, and it's a cup of black water, and it's a cup of yellow water, and it's a cup of. We did that. We did that. But we still came from the ocean. It's still ocean fucking water. Like, you can't take that existence away from it. When you go test it, it's going to come back saying ocean water. Here's all the particles, and you're going to get the same response that you take from the original ocean right there, no matter what you colored it to look like.
Mm.
And that was just dumbfounding to me. It was mind blowing. Like, there was no shame to ever have, that I was only like, I was Christ itself having an experience, and I was within this, immersed into an experience, because I came from the void and decided to have some thoughts. So none of it was even, it was all an illusion. It wasn't even real. You know what I mean? So now what shame do you have in this existence that didn't even exist? You're in a game. You were in a pod this whole time, and it's a simulation around you. And love was shouting through it, trying to get you to shift the lies that you were believing so that you could be in paradise, but we were waiting to get to the place of Eden,
Mm.
right? Which religions, many of them teach this, but we've created idols out of this, which is what has blinded us. Which is why you got priests with closets full of skeletons hiding like no tomorrow, um, all kinds of stuff. You got us even doing that, being ashamed of even falling in love, maybe not getting married, maybe doing this, maybe doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm sure if you were like me coming out of religion, you had to totally just break some walls down that you believed about yourself and go teach yourself how to have fun again.
Yeah.
Just how to live, for crying out loud, not be under some manipulating, controlling box that man literally will admit and know they created because
Mhm.
we thought we interpreted some words correctly. I
Right.
mean, come on. You found this stuff, you didn't even know what it meant, and you made it all up.
Mhm.
And God is you, and you can't face it that you've decided to destroy the one consciousness, and that's what the truth comes down to. It's that
Mhm.
it scares us because we don't want to face us, you know. And I think, like, I came from such a life of trauma and everything, and I was such a victim in my life. And I mean, it's taken years to break that off, even coming back from the truth. But that victimhood that I played was because I believed a ton of BS lies. But I believe those BS lies because I chose to. I'm not saying the abuse or anything that happened to me was good or okay, but what I believed and what I took from it, that wasn't okay. And that was my freedom and my choice. So
Yeah.
sorry about that noise. We're out in the middle of the desert. So
All
that
good.
was
I
an
didn't
ATV
notice.
going by.
Perfect timing. Oh,
So yeah, there you go. Yeah, it shook.
yeah. So
But
would you say that the shame that you felt, yeah, like it was coming from you momentarily, and nobody is emanating this towards you, and once you felt that, once you heard your true name, and anybody listening can fill it in with their true name, that is what woke you up from the dream of shame, separation, and illusion, and that there's, do you fear death now that you've,
not all. It's scary how I don't. Like, I am just a whole no way. Like, I mean, I'm still in and out of doctors' offices and stuff all the time with stuff, and they are always like trying to get me to somehow react serious with them. And I just say, you don't have any questions. And I'm like, nah, are you sure? I said, dude, I've died already. Go look me up. I'm not afraid of any of this. None of this is any of what you believe it to be. If I'm not afraid to die, and I understand the truth of my existence, no matter what's put up against me, I have to choose to accept that or not.
Mhm,
We're that powerful. We're not going to die. We've already died. We're rising to live.
mhm,
That's we're in a sense you're resurrecting into the
mhm,
truth of your being, which is to live. You're coming back to life is what you're doing. And that's what this is. And the fear of death and the fear of all that, that's something that this fallen mindset, that this world has literally been trying to portray so that people won't reach that place where they're really designed to be. I mean, come on, fear stops us from the get-go. You're not born into this world afraid, you're taught it. Just like you're not born into this world racist, you're taught it.
yep,
All the things we're taught, but we get to choose ourselves what we hold on to. So yeah, the shame, no, it's not real.
yeah,
You know, but it is something we still have to walk through.
Yes. Yes. What has helped you on your journey through like healing your different traumas and like challenging experiences? What have you found, like whether they're tools or books or whatever comes to mind, but like what has helped you on your healing journey for helping to integrate and like heal these different energies and experiences you've had?
To be honest, the best thing for me has always been into the wilderness or in far into the desert, like, where I can wake up in the morning, see some wild animal come around and meditate and just listen, ask myself the tough questions because I learned the universe is in me and I am in the universe. And so for me to go ask someone else what their opinion is of my design of my life is they're going to give me a projection from their viewpoint and their understanding. I'm the only being that knows myself inside and out, and the breath of life that runs through me is
Mm,
that existence. So I like to quiet myself. I like to go meditate. I like to remove myself from society altogether, remove myself from toxicity because I'm so empathetic. I pick up like a satellite. I can hear the world if I want to. And I find when I'm around people, I can easily fall into what they're doing. And a lot of people today they go negative, and I can catch on to that, and I don't want to be that. So if I remove myself till I deal with what's in my way, until I feel strong enough to go back into those environments, that's the best thing I can ever do, to be honest.
I love that. And you know, I was just talking about this with someone earlier today about how sometimes we can be afraid to look, you know, afraid to feel those challenging feelings and to question, you know, why this is here, and also the idea of like just having self-awareness around blame, like blaming ourselves, or a lot of times we blame other people first and then we can inward that and blame ourselves. And what would you suggest for somebody that is possibly afraid to look and afraid to feel? And so going out to nature, is there anything else that comes to mind or anything else you want to expand on?
I always go right to the question of what are you afraid of? Instantly, like, what is it that makes you afraid of yourself? Like, you know, I get it. A lot of us have been through some deep, dark trauma in our lives. Like for me, I mean, I literally took a counselor and many police to get me out of my situation, and I was emancipated. And the social worker and stuff that got me out said in his 50 years of working in Canada with this stuff, mine was the worst case he came across. So I know trauma, like no tomorrow. And
Mm,
all I can tell you is that the longer you refuse to look,
mm,
is the longer you're going to be in the prison that you're in.
mhm,
Because we are the prison guard and the prisoner.
mhm,
And we get to choose to turn that key. You know, we get to choose to remember. And we have to choose to also forgive ourselves for being afraid to look. And I would say to them too, like, stop looking at the story
mm,
because that's what you're afraid of. You don't have to look at the story. You
mm,
need to look at what you believe about yourself.
mm,
And remember, the lies, the opposite is the truth. So if you believe you're worthless, well, you're not. The opposite is you're amazing. You're a spark of the divine. You're Elohim. So if
mm,
that's what you are, that's definitely a lie, right?
mhm,
So and you gotta let yourself cry. You gotta let yourself have those emotions, and you gotta be okay with cutting people right out of your life. It's actually okay. You have nothing to prove to people. this journey has never been about proving anything to anyone but yourself.
Mhm.
And if you're worried about, well, what if I hurt these people? Well, you're hurting them by sitting there the way you are. So do yourself and everyone else a favor, because as we heal everyone else, you know.
Mhm.
So that's what I would say. Just don't be afraid.
I love that. Hmm. Hmm. This moment of silence is just coming through really beautifully.
Yeah, I think sometimes we need those moments, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it gives us those moments to kind of let those words sink in.
Yeah.
Um, I appreciate being able to share these words. I mean, nothing means more than more of us understanding who we are.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, do you still do music?
Yes, I do. I've still been playing. It's funny, I've been hanging out here in the desert with some friends, and yeah, they pretty much want me always playing the guitar.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Acoustic, electric.
Yeah, I play mostly acoustic. I can play a lot. I could play pretty much any instrument except for flute. I just can't figure that whistling position doesn't do me any good. But out here I've been mostly playing like the djembe and then playing guitar and singing songs that I've written and just having a good time with everyone. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, it's been fun.
Mm. What other kind of creative things have you found like that you enjoy doing?
Writing. So
Cool.
I've got two books out. I'm gonna be writing a third one it's a series, Awaken series. So yeah, I've been doing a
Tell us
lot of
about,
writing.
yeah. Tell us about your series. What is it
Um,
about?
so the
One.
first book is about basically the process of going through hospice and everything, and what that, wrestling with religion, wrestling with what God is, and all of that in there. Um, it's kind of interesting. You can tell the huge shift when you read the second book, because the second book, it goes into what this matrix is, how do we get out of it, what these thinkings are that we have, how they came, where this program is, what's our original designs. And I just go into more of like a teaching, giving a tool. It's like a book with the story, but it's got the tool, so it's like a flow of a conversation, but here's some tools to take for yourself, and um it's quite different. Like, because yeah, I mean, obviously the first one's in such a religious, you can see where I started off in a religious, and then you can see where the change is like, wait, she's trying to figure this stuff out, and I wouldn't say it's as well written just because it was my very first book. My second book, I don't know, it's just like by then I had taken time to let what integrated into me from the other sides, and I had more of just an expression, more details I felt that I was able to put in there that was more helpful rather than just here's what happened kind of deal. So
Mm.
yeah, they're on Amazon, and then I found out they're also selling at Barnes and Noble as well. So yeah,
Awesome. Congrats.
thank you.
It
So
does
then when
take,
I'm not doing that, I'm just traveling, to be honest, right now. So
that's awesome.
yeah, yeah, it's been fun. I spent a year and a bit on a property helping them build a business and everything on there, but some things happen, so I'm letting other things deal with that, and I'm enjoying my life right now and doing everything I can to keep our things going. So that's been pretty cool and fun. I've got a 88 acres that I'm going to be going to in Oregon, and we both kind of came from the same kind of situation. We're taken to Canada as kids, and just this different stuff we had happen to us. So we really understand each other. And I have a foundation where we want to rescue kids from sex trafficking, and that's one of her passions as well. So they have a full farm kind of going on there right now, but we want to be able to set up things so that as you know more children are set free, that they got places to go to, because it's really hard for them to go back into society. Like I wish I going through what I went through as a kid, I wish I was taken far away, because I spent most of my life, even though I was emancipated from my parents, I still was running for my life. My dad's still trying to get me in his life and stuff. So it wasn't like I had a place to just have refuge and find myself. So that's kind of like what the heart is. I want to see with this foundation is to have a place where kids can come and have refuge and have a safe place to be and get healing as well.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Really needed.
It is. It's something that a lot of people don't pay attention. And it's right in their own backyards, even in the richest neighborhoods. It's right there. And they don't realize it. So,
Hmm.
one of my hearts is to also help educate more so people can pay attention to what's going on around them, and so they
Yeah.
can make calls. Because if it's a child that's ever in a situation, all you do is make one call and that you'll have FBI there 2.2. It's only more difficult with the adults, but the kids, they don't mess around with. So,
That's good.
yeah.
Hmm. And you also have a one of your friends is organizing a GoFundMe for you, right? For like
Yeah. Yeah. To help get me to this Son of Eve program in Mexico. Is in Mexico and in Germany, they have a treatment. Like I have Lyme disease amongst a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So the Lyme is like the one difficult thing that causes chaos with everything else. So getting rid of Lyme is, when you've had it as long as I have, is really, really difficult. And Germany and Mexico have figured out ways to do that. They used to do it in the United States, but they won't let them do it anymore. So out in those two places, they can do some of this treatment that would help me get rid of Lyme and have a better chance with my health and future with it.
yeah.
So, and they also deal with like cancer and all that kind of stuff, because I've got a bunch of like basically I have a bunch of tumors that they're continually watching, but they haven't done anything until they're a certain size. So, but that's a whole thing as well. So I got lots to deal with. And yeah, just everything from all the different doctors and specials I've been through, and a lot of different naturopaths and everything. We did a lot of research and realized this is probably the best bet for me.
Mm.
So
That
my hope is to get there soon. I mean, it's hard to say what'll happen with the fundraising. Like either way, when I get some of my funding that's left from my last job owed to me, I'm going to use that and go to treatment right away. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, we'll be sure to put all of those links below so that people who feel compelled can donate and help you out and also support your nonprofit that you're doing, that good stuff, and buy your books and do all the things.
sorry. Hey, whoosh. Sorry about that.
And I just noticed your lion shirt. That's so
Yeah,
cool. That's
I got this
perfect.
from my friend. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite shirts.
That's awesome. What crystal do you got right there?
This is a smoky quartz, and I found it up in a cave, crystal cave near Mount Lassen. And
Wow,
so yeah, I mined this sucker out myself. So,
that's
and
awesome.
then I had a guy in Arizona who's really amazing at rapping. He did the rap work for it. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Love that.
yeah, I love it. It's a pretty special piece. So yeah,
Very cool. Let's see. Let me know if anything comes through for you that you're like, we need to talk about this, or you want. I'm gonna tune in too.
Hmm.
I want to hear more about the Oregon property. So 88 acres, you said.
Yeah,
Um,
they have 88 acres. And they got a bunch of animals and stuff on there right now. They have a huge passion to help with kids with sex trafficking. The cool thing is my friend's husband is a sheriff as well, so that's kind of really cool.
wow.
Um, so yeah, I mean, we've just probably just in the dreaming phase and disgusting phase and seeing what we can do with everything. I got to see their land last time I was there, and there's definitely lots of stuff you can do with it. Be a matter of raising different finances and getting see if we can get some grants and stuff to pull it all together and everything like that. But it's nice because I do have a foundation, so it's all 1090 and 1023. It's I can take donations worldwide for it, so it's nice having that because that helps you go apply for grants and different things. So I'm hoping once I get there, my plan is to be there by April. So I'm just, I've been slowly like just kind of making my way because I got to see a specialist out in Vegas here. So I yeah, I just been kind of taking my time in the desert actually, to be honest, and separating myself from humanity and just sticking with a small number of introverts that are like me and don't mind it when we spend our own time away. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's been great. Last night we were fire dancing, which was pretty cool, and
That's awesome. I really
it was
want
fun,
I want
right?
the plans. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I actually just found out. I always thought you couldn't make money on BLM land, but apparently you can buy they just want to get you to buy like this ticket for it. And it lasts for the whole year, and you can make all the money you want on BLM land. So I went to the one guy. I'm like, okay, wait a sec. You telling me I could set up a bell tent up here, and I could put my table in there and do ceremonies and do my frequencies and do healing stuff right here in this land? Yeah, as long as you got that pay that 65 a year, yeah. So tell me why no one's doing that. Because like, I mean, that just seems brilliant. I don't have to own a piece of property to run this stuff. I mean, what the
It
heck,
is good.
people? So I think everyone must have just read the rules like I did. It says no selling or none of this, none of that, and just never checked in. Well, could you sell, if you want to? Yeah, you just gotta go buy this license and you're good.
That's
65
awesome.
bucks. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I thought that's amazing. So I might do some pop-up ceremonies and plan them ahead of time so people can come and have some treatments and stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool.
What
And
kind of ceremonies do you do?
I have a friend that she's all trained in Bufo and stuff, so they do Bufo. I've done my stuff with ayahuasca. That's what I usually do, and then mushroom journeys, and then like I'll do cannabis stuff with them as well, and then I do the bioenergetics and frequencies. So that in itself is a whole other thing itself too. So yeah, and I mean if you can set up in a high frequency area too, out in nature, and I mean I have solar, so solar is wherever my van goes, so it's not hard to do that. It's
Mhm.
uh it's pretty amazing to do that, I think. I mean, you just have to probably do it close enough where people don't mind doing the drive, or you just say, hey, come for a weekend retreat. This is the directions. Here's your pin. Come find us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I've done ayahuasca, um, and I've done bufo and mushrooms and cannabis um, and then just straight like DMT, like
Yeah.
5 in. Yeah. Beautiful. All of them are totally different, but my favorite personally is ayahuasca. I've always
Yeah.
felt very connected. I just I feel like a past life energy with that specifically. Like I feel very
Yeah.
connected to the land, even though I've never been there to like Brazil or Peru, or like just, where it grows naturally. But I definitely feel like it's part of me, and of course it's all part of us, but I just
Yeah.
it's a strong
Yeah.
bond.
I know that deep. There's that deep. There's some of us that just have that. It's like we're a part of her, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I love it too. That's to me amazing. And I think it's why I kind of went leaned more towards being a part of that because I've been asked to do like this Bufo stuff and training for it and everything, but I don't know. I like the
Yeah. You like
I
what
like
you
the
like.
plant. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the plants. It's just the way I am. So yeah. So I
Yeah.
just bring my other friends that do it and make them a part of it instead, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing ceremonies like that?
I started being a part of it probably about well, actually, I mean, my first one was before I died, so it would have been like 2019 and then 2020 on kind of where I got yeah.
And hmm, some of your like first plant medicine experiences, how were those for you? Like, where were you at in your life when you started to try these medicines? And like, because,
I got labeled palliative. That's when I decided to try all these medicines. So I mean, being involved in the church and everything, I mean, it took me a while even to be willing to go to cannabis, but I originally went on to cannabis because doctors prescribed it for me. And in Canada, it was better than the other management they were giving me and stuff. So that's what happened for me. And that was my first experience with plant medicine was as an adult. And then I became mom 420, like known, like to educate people on all this plant medicine stuff. But my first experience on all these other like mind expanding psychedelics was literally on my deathbed. And I even told all my doctors and nurses, and they supported it 100%. Some of them even told me where to get some of the stuff. So that was funny.
excellent.
One nurse actually let my one friend walk in and let me drag the DMT pen right there in the hospital. She's like, I don't see anything. That's all she said.
Ah,
I didn't see nothing.
that's amazing. More people like that, like her.
Right. So I think they just didn't, they knew I was like when you're marked palliative, they know their next stage is hospice, right? So they were just
Like,
go
try.
have it, girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was even I even someone had sent me MDMA as well. So there was like a plethora of samples for me to try. And I was like, wow.
A
Yeah,
buffet.
it was a way to the end of your life party, I guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I can't say any of those necessarily were fun experiences though, because like I was dying, right? And every one of them showed me that too. Like even when I did my ayahuasca, all the shamans, like they saw, and it was interesting because they saw it was done to me. They're like, this was done to you. And they saw all this stuff too. And it was I was I thought it was so weird that they're all having the same experience that I was, but the one shaman's like, okay, 700 generations, no one's brought the creator of all humanity into the room, and they all had veils over their faces when when I opened my eyes, like everyone was hiding. They're like, they told me the room just illuminated. It was really bright, and then they said, you even realize who you are? And I said, I probably don't, but I was told, but I'm not sure I can understand it or accept it yet. So I was even told in my ayahuasca the same thing that I was told. I was even in ayahuasca was called Ariel, a little lion, and so it was quite interesting. So it was it was like for me, it probably lightened the weight of walking into where I was walking into. It helped in that sense, but it also was hard because it was letting me know I was dying. So that was, you know what I mean? Like where my after experiences of trying those medicines was different, you know, it was very joyful, and most of the time laughing my butt off, and most of the time not seeing anything outside of what I already see because I am wide open, right? So,
Mm.
but yeah, different expressions from different perspectives, I guess, is what I would say came out of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, so like normally you perceive more like auras, or what do you
Oh,
typically?
I can see auras. I can hear thoughts. I can see your future. I sometimes have people from the past lives come and talk to me. So I guess they say a medium, like the dead come and talk to me. But they're not dead, so you know what I mean? It's just their frequencies in a different realm, but I can see that frequency because I mean I'm in that same kind of zone, I guess, in a sense, right? Because I'm not attached to here by contract. I came here by choice. It's a return, so it's a little bit different than when we're contracted. Does that make any sense? I don't know if it does, but hopefully it does. Um, so this is like a new, it's still a choice of yes, I chose to do something. And it's just that you're kind of an in between. So because I sit in between, I see beyond the frequencies in front of me. So at first it was really difficult. I didn't know what to do with it all. It was noisy, you know. And I think about like some of those movies that, Bruce Almighty, and they're like, and they
Yes.
put it all into the computer because they're like, oh my gosh, well, that's kind of some of the things I actually watched that movie and kind of used some of that to help me with what my gift was giving me because it was just so intense. So being off grid and being away from people is what I did for quite a while. And I honestly didn't even know how to act in front of people for a while either because it was really difficult because I mean I see in a different light, so I don't see things the way most people see them, and I'm not in that negative field. I don't want to be in that negative field. And I don't like when it's around me, I can get caught up in it and I don't want to be. So I can feel frustrated and I just don't know what to do with that. And so I find that a lot of times I do better if I pull myself away from that stuff and put a shield on and then just like give it to I just let it go to creation altogether, right? I'll sit
Yeah.
in the sun and I release it. So, and I had to choose to learn how to like not listen. That's their stuff. At least
Yeah.
I'm aware, yes, but that's theirs, right? So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
And is it, I feel like I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask it as a question. Um, uh, your ability to see these things, perceive these things, receive all of these things, do you believe that this is something that is innate within all of us, regardless of whether or not we perceive that ability in ourselves?
I think there's some of us that just automatically it's just there no matter what. You're born with it. It's in your DNA. It's who you are. And then there's those of us that they gain it, they learn it. And so do we have all the possibilities? Yes. But they have to, some just have to work harder at that. They have to, you know,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's just like I said, we're all unique puzzle pieces, part of the ultimate puzzle cosmos. So it's saying, it's what they have, it's what they are. Some have brown hair, some have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some have this ability, some have this, and it's just there. You're born with it. You can't even run away with it. You try to run away and you get it coming at you in your sleep, So,
Yeah. Do you
so yeah, I think
feel
I
you were
have
born with
two
that?
things.
With these? Oh, sorry. It's glitching.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely now. Lemon Osh. So sorry. Everything I have now, I always had as a child. It's increased. And I believe I ran away from a lot of it growing up, especially as a teenager. I was just trying to fit in, you know. and I just didn't know who to talk to with a lot of the things, you know. So I think I learned to ignore it so long that it even affected me when I was finally ready to use it, you know, because I had to trust my intuition again and trust what I was seeing was real.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I I feel like most people that I know, like, were intuitive as children. You know, 'cause children are more open and receptive to different energies, and, I think that through exposure to different energies, different people, experiences, like, it can either nourish those abilities or it can make you shut them off or close yourself off to them.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that's innate within all of us. But I do agree though that some people come in with the theme of like, this is gonna be with me throughout my life. And then there are those of us who have to reawaken those parts of us.
Yeah.
And, you know, um, so I think it's beautiful, all the different expressions of all that is, it's beautiful.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. I think those two for me is learning the different expressions. That's what helped me realize everybody's this unique expression, but there's still that part of me. And so you see people differently. You start to see people like little babies running around with sticking their fingers in the socket, and you're just going, "Oh, you poor kid." You're so stuck in this game, you know, and you kind of laugh things off. You don't take things as personal anymore, right? So the odd time I still do, though. Don't get me wrong. I still catch in sometimes, you know.
Sure, yeah.
And that's when I'm like, oh, I need to pull away, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So sorry about my dog in the background there.
That's okay. Woof, woof. Hmm. Is there anything else that you would like to say or like, I don't know, any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts would be um, I guess I just encourage anyone who's watching this to I think the one thing I would love to put out there, you don't have to air in front of us all. Um, and don't, it's not about looking for something, it's about discovering what's already there.
Mm.
Just bring it simple again. It's my encouragement to people. Bring it back to simplicity again.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Mm. And where can we find you? Like, what's your website? So that people who want to connect with you can do so, they can reach out.
All right. So a company, so for readings or any of that kind of stuff, you can go on EdenAncientDesign.com. And then I'm on TikTok under Lionheart Truth, or you can even type in Ariel Hooper. And then I also have another TikTok just says I am Truth. So I have a bunch of videos I've been putting up on there. I'm on YouTube, Mystical Ariel, and Facebook under Ariel Hooper. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. And then Amazon and Barnes and Nobles where you can get the books. Just look up my name, Ariel Hooper, Awaken, you know, it'll come up.
Awesome. And I'll put all those links down below so anyone tuning in, you can click the link and it'll take you where you want to go. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your medicine and your wisdom and your experience. And really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed my time and enjoyed the conversation. It was nice to see the spirit flow very smoothly. So appreciate you holding space.
Woo. Namaste.
Hey.